Welcome back to Design Build Workshop. Today we're going to talk about a custom-made rolling tool cabinet. So I don't do anything without thinking about the design. This was supposed to be kind of like a retro looking tool case, rolling tool cabinet. I wanted it to look like it came from the 30s or 40s, which is why I kind of picked this color. That was kind of a popular color back then. You notice I've got, it's distressed. So all the plywood that I used, which is basically from the lifting platform I was talking about, basically, recut it. And then I didn't want it to be super smooth or anything. I just wanted it to, look like it was used. And so that's what I went with here. And then if you also notice that all of these stencils on here, the drawers were all labeled. Those are all World War II aircraft. And those, so this side is mostly fighters. These are all bombers. So of course the bigger drawers are the bigger bombers. But I'm really into World War II aircraft, and so that's why I wanted to go ahead and label these like this. There's metal trim on here, and that basically protects the edges, but it's also a design detail that I wanted to do. These are the handles that I was talking about. This is just leftover stuff that I had from this tubing was used when I built my welding table. And so I had some pieces left over, so that's what I put on here. And then as far as this copper element here, that's just copper pipe that I hammered down. And once I got it flat, I made sure I left all the hammer marks in here and then drilled this little circle in here just as like a little detail. And then I've got this stainless hardware kind of holding it on to give it a real industrial look. And the top is actually also from the Olympic platform I had. And this is actually a horse mat. So if you go to a farm store, if you live in a farm community, you can get 3/4 inch horse mat. And that is used, I believe, for putting either in stalls or in trailers or something like that. It's real dense, but it's great for, for what I needed it for as far as the lifting platform, but it's also really good for the top of this, and I had it, so that's what I used. So here are some of the design phases or 3D modeling of the cabinet. And basically this side over here is the shell. So you've got 4 verticals, you've got a bottom, a top, and a back. And the back is 3/4 of an inch because I wanted the extra support. And then if you look underneath, you can see I've just got one panel right here. But what I did when I actually did the assembly, there's a doubling of that panel underneath there because I wanted to make sure that it could handle all that weight. So this is actually a 2-ply on the bottom of the actual piece. And then if you look over here again, I've got all the drawers modeled here in their sizes. This one ended up being bigger in the actual build. So that one and this one in the model are the same, but in actuality, this one's actually a little bit bigger. And then up here, I've got the modeling with the facing and kind of the handle detail that I wanted to do. You can see originally I had a bunch of holes drilled in here, but I just went with the one for what I did. Basically it's set up so there's like a dado. So the verticals get received in that dado. And then same thing with the side panels. There's a dado right here. Drawers are built the same way. And also all the drawers are all 3/4 inch as well. And that's because everything came from that Olympic lifting platform, which essentially was all 3/4 inch plywood. And I didn't have to purchase anything extra because there were so many sheets involved in the Olympic platform. Here's the original Olympic platform. That center piece of plywood that looks like it's finished, which it is, that's a full sheet of 4x8. And then underneath that are 4 full sheets of 4x8 plywood. So you can see I had plenty of plywood to work with when I was assembling this. And then I've got some images here of the process of putting it together. This is like with the doors open and the fronts off, and here are some with the fronts on. The handles I used for the lower drawers are actually just really heavy tie downs. I just like the look of it, so it was kind of industrial looking, so that's what I went with. Started working with the drawers as far as putting the handles on and how that looked. I really like the look of the copper. Here's some of the paint going onto it now, and some of the bottom configuration as well. Of course, you noticed I have got a drafting board mounted on my rolling tool cabinet. I wanted to be able to do some drafting once in a while in my studio or in the workshop here. And I wanted to have this set up, but I wanted to have it out of the way. So the compromise I did was I basically created a pneumatic system that I can basically put this away once I'm done using it. And this will just go back until it locks in place. And now that it's locked in place, it'll stay there, and I can use the tool cabinet and the top as I want to. So I thought I'd show you the lifting mechanism in action so you can see what that looks like. So the center of the cabinet is basically for what I laid it out for whatever I had. Most of the tools I have are these cobalt tools, and so I basically laid everything out so everything would kind of fit in here. I've got of course, this is a Milwaukee bandsaw, portable bandsaw, but that just slides in this shelf here. Got my routers up here, drills, jigsaw, grinder, flashlight and a charging system over here. I've got the small compressor back here, and then I've got the skill saw right up there. Of course, you can configure this any way you want to, and this was not pre-drawn when I was designing the system. I just took what I had and I thought, okay, well, this will fit here. I can close this up, and I was trying to make the best use of space that I could. And this is what I came up with. And of course, I've got the sharpener here, and then the pneumatic system to basically raise and lower the architect's table, the drafting table. So looking at the end or the side, if you want to look at it either way, I've got the metal running on all corners. And then I just have some pipe that I put on the side here, and that's on both sides. So you can see that there as well. So I lucked out with drawer slides. When the company I was working for at the time, I was working in the R&D department for a fixture company. A lot of things that we did were for major outlet, major stores, that kind of thing. And so we had a lot of hardware, and they were getting rid of these heavy drawer slides. And they had a whole bunch of them. So I was like, oh, okay. So this is what worked for me. And the depth was just what I needed. And so I had a whole lot of free drawer slides. And once, and of course I had the wood already because I had the Olympic platform. So this was a no-brainer as far as putting this thing together. It was the only thing I really had to purchase was that angle iron, and that's just 1/8 by 3/4, and that's just not very expensive. So I didn't, as far as materials were concerned, it wasn't that expensive. I did purchase these pretty heavy-duty casters. They're lockable. They're the softer wheels, so it rolls really nicely. I didn't want to have to fight something to take it around the shop. And that's the center. So I have 6 casters underneath this. And the reason being is I wanted to have enough support because, it's a tool chest. It's going to carry a lot of weight. So now I spent all this time talking about this rolling tool chest and its organization. I'm actually taking most of these tools, and they're actually going to go into the wall cabinet behind me. This has 4 sliding panels besides what's on the very back. And then I'm also going to have opening doors. It'll be trimmed out. This is going to be a little bit of a longer process, but most of these tools are going to end up in here. And the reason being is this is going to be easier to access what I've got here rather than pulling drawers open. And especially if you notice the bigger drawers have a lot of that heavier stuff in there. Digging through stuff is not one of my favorite things to do, to try to find something. So I'm going to try to organize this a little bit better so I don't have to do that, and then have everything over here easily accessed so I can deal with that a little bit better too. If you have any questions or comments on this build or any other build, please feel free to leave those in the comment section. Thanks again for joining me on Design Build Workshop. If you found some value in this video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time.